Attention campers, somebody has made a comeback, while the other three have been sent packing for good. So, who gets to sit around the BB bonfire a little bit longer? We'll find out soon enough. But first, a new HOH will be crowned. Welcome to the Big Brother After Show.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
So great.
You know, I wish we had a campfire right here.
Yeah,
I
we should
know.
get one. We should.
I think this whole show,
dancing.
this whole season has become a
dancing.
campfire. In some sense.
Good evening, guys. I'm Bryce McLeay, and welcome to the Big Brother After Show. Tonight, one house guest became the comeback kid, and another will rise to power. But before we get to that, let's introduce our panel. I am so undeniably grateful for these guys. Sitting next to me is Rachel Swindler.
Hi.
Woo! That's all you have to say.
That's all I have to say.
You're so speechless.
I am speechless. I actually have a lot to say. So.
Okay, good. Well, that next door is Jessica Williams.
I'm just a shooter.
Oh, yes.
Six shooter.
Gosh.
And Charles Conoly.
I honestly didn't have a pun ready. I was gonna I was gonna create a pun with all these different numbers, but I've run out because they're used every single number in the Big Brother house.
You could say level 6.
Yeah. My opener was so bad. I'm so sorry, guys.
Rachel's
I'm
trigger.
way wittier than that. My trigger. Don't say level 6. Could you? Gosh.
You're like Caitlin.
PTSD. What's wrong with Angela? Sorry.
All right, guys. Tonight we're going to get into grave detail about the winner of Camp Comeback and who we think the new HOH will be and what we think the strategy will be moving forward. Furthermore, we saw a house divided, and there are several cracks in the alliances. I know. Thank God. Jeez. Who has the best shot of sticking together? Stay with us.
Me.
We'll also touch on the activity powers, both the positive and negative of each one. But Rachel, first, I want to ask you, we've seen a lot of your former BB20 housemates on the show, hosting comps and appearing in Fiji. Are we going to see you anytime soon?
Well, you know what? As of right now, no. And I don't. Thank you.
Yeah,
You would think.
that.
Okay, I did low-key try to get on Love Island. It didn't work out.
This is your Love Island.
I'm
Hello.
still available if you need me. But no, I don't have anything yet. But, you know, who knows?
It's because you have a more important job being here with us.
I agree with
Exactly.
that.
You know what? I'm just here living my best life. I'm going to be on a national television show soon.
Yes.
National series.
Come on.
If you were to host a Power
That's a
Veto
combo.
or an
Yeah, I'm
HOH,
not
do you
really,
know
but-
like what type of Power Veto or HOH you would want to host? What do you want to host, like an endurance comp or like a puzzle?
At this point, anything.
Well,
At this point, just anything.
You're currently hosting the ultimate endurance comp that is life.
I just thought it'd be really cool if I could just like go in and do a what's wrong with and then pick something.
yes.
yeah.
Like, you know,
What's wrong with this picture? And it's
Or
like
what's
one thing
wrong with this
different.
picture?
In the game.
Let me give you some ideas, production. Let's
There you
go
go.
around and give some ideas of a Rachel hosting competition.
God, I
Okay, I
know one.
have one.
Okay, there we go.
Me first. What's wrong with Angela? And then the competition is literally people have to sort furniture around with the lamp and with the coffee table and be like, this is Angela.
So it's like a puzzle.
Yeah.
I had kind of the same thing, but it would be like 4 pictures of Angela, and every single picture would be slightly different from
and
the
you had to
original.
pick out the differences.
And you'd say, what's wrong with Angela?
I like that.
Oh
Okay.
my God! Okay, that's a good one. So
Yeah.
CBS, did you hear that?
that was a
You
good
better be
one.
listening.
You better be listening.
Seriously.
Yeah. What's wrong with Angela? And like in one, her like earring is on the other side.
Yes,
That's
I
good.
love it. Her
Yeah.
knot and chain is on one side.
Oh, not in chain. That's
Yeah,
still
I'm giving a
plug.
shout out to you, girl, too. So
I love
how about that?
that
That's our
jewelry.
new-
Who do
That's
you
their
think,
new
who do you
brand.
think has done the best? Who's hosted the best comp?
Who's hosted the best
Yeah.
comp? I loved Caitlin's.
Yeah. I was
I'm
gonna
sorry.
say, that's got to be the best
I
one.
said as thespians we stand. I mean,
Come on,
it was
thespians.
hilarious. The light, the everything.
Yes.
That would exactly been the competition I would want to host.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Yeah,
Love the idea.
she delivered, and I love that they're kind of wallowing and being really excited.
They're having
and
fun with it.
Yeah, having
They had a lot of
fun
fun
with
with
what
it.
happened last year. But while we're talking about shout-outs and waddling, I don't know, poor transition. Hey,
it was a good
chat.
one,
Okay, thanks.
That's really good job.
Thanks. Hey, chatters. We see you. I want to let you know. And if you want to join the conversation, please go to our YouTube link, because I know some of you guys are listening. Go to our YouTube link on the side. Join the chat. Shout out to Netta Kins. She said, this is my first live, and I'm ready to talk BB21. So welcome, darling.
Yay.
Welcome.
And also, while you're in the chat, make sure to subscribe and like this video, because if it weren't for y'all, we wouldn't even be here. AfterBuzz is the ESPN TV, or is the ESPN of TV Talk, and for us to continue to grow, we want you to talk to us in the live chat. That's really what makes this panel so interesting, is we get to talk about our show with all of y'all. So we just named our pitch for Rachel's Power Veto competition. Why don't you name one in the chat right now? And while you're there, like I said, like and subscribe AfterBuzz TV.
All right, y'all. You gotta kill it with them, y'all.
I look at the marketing.
Yes.
How many times?
Yes.
That was awesome. Okay, you guys, let's get to what happened this evening. So if you are watching this right now, if you haven't seen the episode and you're watching us live, we will be ruining it for you. So come back or stop watching right now. I'll give you a second.
Yeah, keep watching.
I mean, keep watching. But...
Oh, yeah, we'll give you a second.
Okay, that's enough. All right, so let's start with Camp Comeback coming to a close. Wow, such a sad ending. So Cliff became the final member of Camp Comeback, and he, Ovi, Kemi, and David go head to head. So Rachel, why don't you tell everyone what happened?
Oh, so what happened? Well,
After that,
it was the one with the ball holding up the thing and
Is that the Friends episode?
up the thing.
Yeah.
But what happened was good old Cliff Hogg. You know, he was the physical threat we didn't know we needed.
Yeah, he hogged the competition.
Yes, he hogged up. He didn't even he completed it earlier than the time frame that was allotted. He pulled a Fessy last year when he completed that one challenge with in record time.
Yeah,
This was ridiculous. It's the same comp last year that Casey won HOH in.
He didn't even need that extra ball. At the end, he was like, "I'm gonna need that ball."
Yeah, he was like, "Whatever."
Anyway.
He nailed it. I can't believe the level of perfection that he executed this competition. I was shocked and I was pissed. I was so mad. Because it's such a waste of a week. Number one, because I'm sorry, just tell me how you really.
But we like that.
Let's explore that. So why do you think it's a waste? Because we all sort of had the same emotion.
Because number one, it screws over everyone in the house because they all voted either Nicole or Cliff out, and they're both still staying. There was no point of getting rid of someone in the dramatics of the switcheroo of the votes if he's going to come back anyway. And on top of it, he was the least likely one to come back, and he's the least likely one that I want to come back because he's not going to stir up any drama. Ovi had vengeance. Kemi was like, girl, please. And then David had a full-blown strategy to come back in and annihilate them. And I wanted to see that, and now I don't get to.
And the house guests knew that too. Like the house guests who were not in Camp Comeback, I think they fully knew that Cliff was like the throwaway. They knew that he was the safest one to come back for all of their games. They're like, okay, maybe we have one more week to maybe put Cliff on the block and maybe do what we did last week, like target Cliff. Like it was just another week for them to figure things out and like work with an alliance. I think that they agreed. Of all of the players, they didn't want to see David the most, I think, because David had the house figured out.
100%.
Ovi wasn't really a threat. I don't think Kemi was too much of a threat. She seemed a little bit too chill, I think.
Yeah, she's so monotone.
Yeah, she really was.
Yeah. I mean, Cliff, I totally my train of thought. There's so much going on.
Yeah, he hogged.
I mean, I think that there is a lot of validity to what you guys are saying. There's something to David being totally screwed over, and I don't know that it was being robbed in the competition. I mean, obviously we saw him sitting with Julie. He was very emotional. He took it but we all said how what a good sport he was in saying that he's so proud of Cliff and happy for him, because there is that stigma that we all talked about even in the first episode where you have these like older guys who really don't seem to be able to play, or they're usually out first. They don't connect with people. It's just like it's a staple of Big Brother, and Cliff is kind of proving that wrong each time. So I don't know if it's because he's doing this because if he's just really good at being able to save himself during, because we've seen a lot of players over the years be really good at saving themselves when they need to.
Right.
Maybe he's just like sitting back. I don't know. I can't tell.
Well, I always go back to thinking of Keven in BB19, right? And I thought that he lasted so long because he played a good social game, and whenever Cliff was in the house, I was like, okay, the factor in him either staying or leaving, I think, is going to be his social game. But he didn't necessarily play a great social game. He didn't really connect with the house guests in the way I thought. What's interesting about Cliff is he's actually staying because he's competing well. Like, whenever he was up for banishment, he was first place.
I know.
in returning.
That's what I'm saying. That's
And
true.
then he killed this competition. Like, he's one of the few
ridiculous.
Like,
kind of
crazy.
outsiders in terms of age that is competing well. So we say that this is a throwaway week, but who knows? What if Cliff surprises us all the way to the end in competing?
I hope if Cliff wins HOH, he goes
God
after
bless.
the 6.
That.
Yeah.
Because that's the only, I guess, positive thing we can look at is if Cliff comes back, Cliff is back, that next week, if he were to win HOH, or he does win HOH, he's going to go against the 6 that voted against him, and hopefully he doesn't go, well, it's okay. No, Cliff Hogg, I'm looking at you. Okay?
He's gonna
go
do that.
after the 6.
You know he's going to do
We
that,
need
though.
that. The
I
viewers,
agree.
we need that.
Yes,
Okay?
He's gonna be like, no
that's
hard
the only
feelings.
silver
No
lining.
hard
Yeah.
feelings. It's
The
okay.
only silver lining.
Well,
in
here's the
coming
other
back.
thing, too, that I was thinking about if David had won, because, I mean, I feel like it was pretty much between, I guess, Cliff and David. I didn't. It would have depended on the competition, I think. But with David winning, I still feel like there is a possibility, even though probably not, but I still feel like they could have swayed him into
I
coming
agree.
into their alliance, because it could be like, you know, you're athletic. They would want to diffuse him as quickly as possible, as they don't really care about Cliff. So I still feel like we have more of a balance with him, whereas David may be more of a wild card. He gets back in the house and he's finally going to play the game, and why wouldn't he align with the best,
biggest
the best
alliance.
people,
Yeah.
especially if they're willing to?
Yeah.
Granted, he might be at the bottom of the totem pole, but I wanted to ask you guys, because like we saw in the last night's episode, where, I mean, first of all, you have Undeniable, which is by far
Horrible.
the worst
Oh my God.
alliance
Name ever.
But I just how would you guys feel if you were on the opposite side of that, and everyone's telling you, like we saw Ovi tonight, Ovi, get out of here, you gotta go. Like, I mean, I want to know what you guys would do in that situation.
I would take the information that Nicole got from Sis and everybody else about bullying. I would see that there was contention within the alliance and not tell outright Bella about, sorry, I don't want to jump too far ahead or
No, that's
behind or
okay.
whatever.
Jump.
I wouldn't outright tell Bella, like, they're calling you bullies, they want to target you and Nick. I would be a little bit more nuanced with it, so I would flesh out that kind of inner turmoil within the alliance and see if I could work with that in some way. Like, I would tell Sis to talk more about how Bella is a bully. Expand. I don't understand. Before Sis knows it, she's like convincing everybody else, like, yeah, Bella is a bully. We should take shots at her. Like, I would let her come to that conclusion before telling Bella this information.
We shouldn't tell Bella nothing in general. But I don't think if we're going to jump to kind of the veto and Nicole going to Bella and Nick and saying this, I will say, kudos to her for trying to save her side of the house. I was so impressed by that. I was like, girl had some gonads. She went out there and she did it. But I don't think she could have gotten around, no matter what she said or how she went about it. I don't think she could have gotten out of Bella and Nick going back to them and saying something. I don't know if she could have been able to do that, because they've had this strong bond since the beginning, and as we see, Nick and Bella were so loyal to the 6. So I don't think they could have gotten around that. It would have gotten back to them in some way.
No, I 100% agree. And can I just tell you, the level of frustration that I had watching last night's episode was insane.
bad.
Like, my blood was boiling, because there's so many levels to it, but specifically what we're talking about. I agree with what you're saying about flushing it out, but the wrong person. Nicole did right. I know she was beating herself up, but she did right. Number one, she was doing a Hail Mary. That was information that she used. The only unfortunate thing is it's one word against the other, and there was no additional people to
back her up.
Yeah, to correlate like her story.
3 against 1.
And so my thing is this. If Bella and Nick were smart, they are the ones that should not have went to the entire house and basically call a house meeting to say, were you guys talking about me? Because who's going to be like, yeah, it was me. Of course they're going to lie profusely like they did. And so the smartest thing would have been to pull one of them aside each and call Sis and be like, hey, could you hear conversations about this? Exactly. Well, tell me, were you in the room for this? And then they would have started turning on people. They didn't know who said what. But when you do it like that, it was just the perfect. And there's is so stupid. And the best thing about
So
it
dumb.
is it's temporary frustration, but it's long-term stupidity.
Whose phone is that,
because
by the way?
Oh my.
is it us? Or I feel like it's, I don't know. But anyway, short-term frustration, but long-term stupidity, because literally they're going to go back and watch the show and they're going to look like idiots. Bella and Nick, you're idiots. She said that you're dumbasses last week. I'm saying that you're really stupid.
No.
I'm done.
She said, I had to get off my chest since last night.
Yes.
For real.
Is that my phone?
Well, if
I
it
don't know.
isn't,
Well, if
It's
it
not
isn't,
mine.
it's not mine.
hers. Okay, Charles, we'll be back.
Charles,
Charles will be right back.
you're going to be in detention.
Detention, please.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, well, he's very popular.
So you're in
Sorry to cut you off. I didn't mean to cut you off because I think what you said was really valid, and I think there's something that you know why I've always said that I love this panel, because it's so funny that I find things that we have such different perspectives a lot of the time, but because with Nick and Bella, to me, like, I see them as that was such a dumb thing to do, but they have these strokes of brilliance that, like, I think that, you know, when Bella saw right through Jackson throwing Nicole under the bus, he's like, I think it was Jackson that did it. I was just like, she's so smart. I would be targeting them so hard right now if I were in that house, because it is so obvious that they are clearly know what's going on. Same with, I mean, David was very intuitive in that way too, but it's interesting. They have these like strokes of brilliance, but yet then they do that other stuff, and
They
Bella
just talk too much.
Well, Bella's
Yeah.
sort of doing like I use this phrase all the time, but it's like the false target thing, where it's almost as if she's so good and she's smart in the sense of, like, she knows what's going on, but she, like, does all these dumb things, like talk to everyone and tell everyone
Negates
everything.
it, yeah.
It's people almost like, she's not a threat at all because she's just going to tell me everything.
Blabber.
About
Yeah,
it.
You know,
she's gonna
I
blab her
agree.
mouth.
Just to piggyback on what you just
Yeah.
said real quick, they are smart in figuring out, but then they're so dumb because they're so
In
gullible.
execution.
Anybody can say anything to them and they believe it.
Yeah.
So it kind of defeats the purpose of figuring out stuff. Right. Like, I was like, oh yes, they're figuring it out. I was so happy because Mickey was so obvious.
Yeah.
But anyway.
No, I just still can't when they all went in the room and they were like, we didn't do that, she said it. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. Nicole's the idiot. I'm like, no, okay, y'all are all in alliance together. Of course you're going to band together, and the one girl on the other side, I tweeted about that today.
Yeah.
So
And
I was
honestly,
like, what?
Yeah.
I think that was like a little bit of them subliminally, just like, they didn't even realize that they were just trying to protect themselves. They were like, okay, let's all just say Nicole did it, because I don't think we can handle at this point inner, like, turmoil within our alliance. Like, I don't want to deal with, like, somebody in our alliance talking crap about somebody else in our alliance. I don't want to deal with that. So let's just say it was that person for now.
yeah,
Yeah.
can I have one more comment?
Yeah.
What's wrong with Nick and Bella?
You don't need to raise your hand.
That's wrong.
Oh, okay, I wanted it.
Oh, and by the way, just a side note, I take back what I said last week. If you guys were watching,
What'd you
I
say?
totally was like, oh, like, Mickey is growing on me. Like, I think that he's such
I
like,
remember
a
when you
genuine
said
person.
that.
Yeah.
I remember when
It
you
was
said
like,
that.
Hey, I was having temporary, like, brain cray. Because literally, it's because he's playing the game good. I will say that. But he is not genuine.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah,
really good
game-wise.
actor. He's a really good liar. He acts so genuine that he's like, behind the scenes, and I don't like him now.
Well, I would. That kind of goes into my next question for you guys. Is like what Nicole was saying in terms of bullying. Are all these people bullies? Are they really bullies? Because I think that there's two sides of this. You know, you can sort of like it is Big Brother, and I think you can misconstrue things and take things personally that would be maybe possibly seen as bullying, but it's also the game.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have my own opinions, but I wanted to hear you guys what you think about it.
I do think there is some bullying going on here. I believe that no, there's definite bullying going on, and people are talking down to each other, like Jack did to Kemi. That was so disgusting to watch. Who are you to speak to somebody
Oh my God, I hated that.
way? It's absolutely mind-boggling. And then the other thing that I'm going to get into my news and gossip tonight that Nick did in the house, it's ridiculous. You should never be questioning somebody on something like anxiety, something that is affects so many people.
Yeah.
I mean, I as someone who got out of the Big Brother house and experienced anxiety for the first time for months, you know, it's something that's real. And as a therapist, to question something like that, how dare you?
Yeah,
You
you're
should
right.
know
I
better.
didn't even think of the context of his therapist.
Yeah.
I definitely think there's bullying. But I think that going into the Big Brother house, honestly, like, I feel for Nicole. I think she's a great person. I don't think she's meant for Big Brother. I don't think she's meant for that house. I think she's a good person. But good people are not who I root for on Big Brother. I root for people who play the game and play the game well, and that doesn't always translate to being a good person. So, like, Nicole, I think that she flubbed a couple of times strategically in the past week. And it resulted in this mob mentality coming after her.
Yeah.
We heard it in the beginning of the episode. The mob put down their pitchforks for long enough to come up with a new alliance name. I think there was a mob mentality, and Nicole has a bit of a submissive and passive and non-confrontational personality that makes it easy for somebody to jump all over her. Yeah, and it's a shame. It's cringy and awful to watch. And in the outside world, I don't think a person like Bella would necessarily keep attacking Nicole. But maybe it was a little bit of venting and frustration. I still think she's an awful person for doing it, though.
Right. So, absolutely, I agree with you both because it was 100% bullying. Yeah. And the major part of it is I believe in strong gameplay. And I do see the variance that you're saying, Bryce, in this situation. However, the moment to me that it turned into bullying is when the entire room were literally like people walking. No, we're talking game. You gotta go. Sorry, you're not invited. You're not in here. They were kicking people out. And the moment that I was like, ugh, because I actually like Christy, their name.
Yeah.
I did like her, but when they were in, her and Jack were in the storage room, and we're like, David, you're so good. No, you've been doing everything perfect. You kept your mouth shut. You've just been playing along with us. Oh, he should have kept his mouth shut. Now he's in trouble. I was like, I would like to strangle you right now. And then, by the way, I wanted to literally switch places with Nicole. My heart broke for her. The way that Bella was talking to her, I was like, can I just kind of transit? Because
talking at her.
I don't mind confrontation.
I don't want to switch
No, I'm not done. I'm sorry. The thing about Bella and talking over, they target weak people. They're predators who they're like, oh, I'm going to prey on someone who cannot have a voice. And I appreciate Tommy recognizing it, but he did not have Nicole's back. I agree with you. She's not built for the show because she does make mistakes, but it was just so painful to watch.
Yeah, and
my heart was broke.
Yeah, and whenever I really wanted to jump in was whenever like Jack was doing that thing with Ovi, like fully trying to intimidate him, and Ovi was like, "Hey, like, are we good?" And Jack was like, "We're good."
Yeah,
patronizing.
Nothing to worry about, buddy. I was like, I want to. I don't want to watch you
that's
anymore.
That's the same way he acted when he talked to Kemi.
Yeah, it was bad.
He's so disgusting. Like in the patronizing way, it's just like I just want them to meet their match. Yeah. That's the type of person I am.
They'll meet their match on Twitter when they get off the show.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and listen, I agree with all of you. I think there's 100% like bullying. I mean, there's no question about it. Like Jack and Mickey are the fact that he threw in that vote in order to, and maybe that was whatever, but in order to pin it on like poor innocent little Nicole who has no threat to his game whatsoever. Yeah. What is wrong with them? I mean, they need to. It's just so unnecessary. They act like it's like high school.
Yeah.
Like everyone is like they're just it's and Jack walking around like, oh, you better, like, even when Cliff walked into the one sofa room or whatever, and he said, oh, I'm not really sure what's going on, and you better get up, like, there's a bunch of people talking. Jack's like, all right, well, I better get up there then, because I'm running this house.
Yeah.
Like, go. Yourself, dude.
So
like,
bad.
I mean, seriously, you're nobody,
bad.
and it's.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I forgot about that.
I think that you're right, though. I mean, I that's what I would love to see, is like them to meet their match, because the other side of that house, if they can get even an ounce of power, I just really hope that they see right through this like.
And I'm surprised at Kimmy, though, because out of everyone in the house, I saw her at the beginning being more so the one to have the gusto to be like, tell people off, or at least to stand up for herself. But the situation that you brought up, Rachel, the way that she just sat there and kind of adapted to and conditioned herself to be like, okay, I won't put my stuff in the fridge. Though we all saw like her sarcasm, she still gave him what he wanted, and he felt so glorified for having to tell her perspective. I have a perspective to give to you.
I actually liked her reaction though, because I think he wanted a reaction of her, and she was like, you know what, I know what you want, and I'm not going to give it to you.
Yeah, and just what he said. He goes, you have a tendency to put your shaker bottles in the fridge. We prep ice appropriately so that we have fridge space.
What are you, the fridge Nazi? Like
what?
Back off.
No.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And he was like, what do you think will happen if we all put our shaker bottles?
So
Like,
what do you
Everyone wants to put their shaker bottle. Like,
Are we in middle school?
But I am disappointed in Kimmy, though, the last point, with her being, and I said this the last week, remember I was like, I was so happy that she was going to be a BB camper, because you can literally go off and not be,
have
repercussions. So she didn't do anything. She didn't expose the alliance that she figured out. She didn't expose this or expose that. It's just a waste. Now she's out the house.
Yeah.
That was a waste.
Maybe if she were in more of like a
up.
Bella type of position in a strong alliance where she feels a little bit more protected, she would have done it at the onset. And then I think when she went into Kim comeback, maybe she felt like all was lost.
But you have nothing to lose. You're still in the house. This
Like, at least
was
blow
the
something
perfect
up.
social experiment doing the BB
Blow it
campers,
up.
and I don't think that nobody took advantage of it except David. Bless his heart.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The problem is, though, I mean, I think that what we're all saying is really, when it comes down to, is that no one's being really strategic in this house as much as we want them to be. I think
Except Tommy.
I think Tommy can be. I would say that, and I think that
And Sam.
I think that Sam can be, but I don't. I mean, and maybe we're just not seeing that as much.
I don't think we are.
Probably Holly is. I think is maybe being a little bit more strategic about what she's doing, but
You know who I... Sorry.
no, it's just like the people that we're seeing, and I feel like this happens like every season, that we see the people that are the ones that are kind of like flying off the handles, or just telling, like Christy telling everybody everything, or
The only
Bella telling everybody everything. You know?
I quite enjoyed tonight when they did the interviews with your 3 evicted house guests, and very interesting to hear them say Sam. When I heard Kimmy say Sam, that kind of like was a light bulb in me. I was like, ooh, I didn't kind of. Sam can be annoying, clearly, in the diary room. His voice is very annoying.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see her say that, because now that this has happened with them going against each other, I could see this happening. And then all of a sudden, you got Tommy in the middle, you got Sam in the middle, you've got the people in the middle.
Honestly, I thought that Christy's whole paranoid meltdown about her going on the block was a bit of a guise. I thought that was strategic in some way, because I can see if she wanted to save Nicole for some reason, then she would go to Kat and say, like, I'm going to be backdoored, don't use the power of veto so we can save Nicole. Like, as a workaround way, like, to tell Kat not to use the power of veto. Like, I'm hysterically crying because I'm so convinced, but then I was like, well, that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense.
It was, but
That's a good way to think about it.
She was literally freaking out.
So I was like, why is she, like, I was like, this is coming out of nowhere. Why is she doing this?
It's like when you go into the diary room, and I mean, that's what all the great people do. They would, if Christy put all that show and then was like, don't worry, I just want to say Nicole.
Exactly.
She would that would be strategic to me, and maybe on a level it was like she was just really that I mean, again, I told you guys it was like maybe she reminds me of Vanessa so much.
I think she is just that paranoid.
She is. Like, I mean, that's what Vanessa was. She was so paranoid all the time, was crying hysterically, and like was thinking everyone was out to get her. It was just, and that's what she reminds me of so much. But I want to ask you guys. So we've seen. Okay, so now we have this undeniable, which is the final. We finally get. It's Grateful plus Sam.
Yeah.
We also saw the formation of 6 shooters, which is the sixth couple.
Sorry. I'm
God,
sorry.
all of these numbers.
Oh my God, she's getting
are
6.
are literally making us sick.
She's gonna be 6.
It's like she's gonna be 6. So I want to know though. Do you guys think, it seems sort of like Nick and Bella were on the outs now? Maybe there's some repairing. I don't know how to say that word. Repairing going on. Who do you think will be the first to split? Or are we seeing it? Are we seeing it already?
Like
out of the big 9. Yeah, like who's gonna turn on who, and where's the split gonna go?
Well, I think if one of the Jacks, or I think if Mitchie wins, I think he'll put up Nick and Bella. I think he would be one. But I just think now that this has happened, any of them will put up.
I feel like it's a question to ask, like, who wouldn't try to blow up their alliance at this point. I don't think Holly would. I don't think Annalise would. I don't think Jack would. He might put up Jack might put up Nick and Bella, but I think they're all either targeting Nick and Bella, and if by some fluke Bella wins, she might go after Mick. What would she do?
Why are you trying to ruin my night?
Definitely.
That would be awesome.
Go after them
Nicole.
now.
So special shout out, just by the way, because we see you chat, we see each other. Shelby Anderson. Shelby Anderson, this is her first time viewing. Hey girl, thanks so much for joining. She's really excited to be in the chat. And then Shamar said, you're giving Christy too much credit for that whole analysis. And we agree.
I just need to give her some. I need to give one of these house guests some credit.
But with the question that was being asked, who's going to take a shot? So I really hope that someone from these 84 alliances don't win HOH. That would be nice. But if they did, I do think that they're going to target Nick and Bella. I don't think they're going to do it directly. Like I don't see them. For some reason, there's like this fear. Unless it's Jack or Jackson, perhaps. But everyone else, they're going to be like, well, let's try to backdoor them maybe, because they still want to salvage this alliance. It's so interesting. They go so in and out, because shortly after, they all profusely lied, by the way, and said, we didn't say that, we didn't think that, we didn't blah, blah, blah. Clips later, they're all back talking shit about them. Like, oh, God, Nick gets on my nerves. He's unbelievable, and da-da-da-da.
It's so early, though. Like, why go after your own alliance?
Yeah, it's still so early for them to be doing that, I feel.
Just evict, like, 2 other people and then have, like, a real plan.
Like I said, level 6, man, we would have never gone after each other until it was 2 of us on the block together. There's no way. And as you saw, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Well, this is actually a perfect time for a little segment we like to call Rachel H. That was on the spot. That was made up.
Well, it is everybody's favorite segment.
Was it?
Yes, it was. Good God. Thanks, girl. Thanks, girl.
We need to record that.
Oh my God.
Music.
Rachel H. Yes, Rachel H is everybody's favorite segment, and it gives us some context into what a former Big Brother house guest would do. As we all know, Rachel Swindler over here was on Big Brother season 20.
Yes.
So she's going to give some insight on what she would do in Big Brother season 21. Now, I know that they've compared Big Brother season 20 to Big Brother season 21, calling it Chanel versus Walmart. Obviously, Rachel was on the Chanel team.
Yeah, that's right.
So maybe it would be awkward if it wasn't.
Maybe she can bring some Chanel
versus Walmart.
Maybe she can bring some Chanel into this Walmart type of situation. So, Rachel, I ask you, if you were HOH and had the opportunity to go after your own alliance in the way that Mickey had proposed to go after Nick and Bella, would you go after your alliance this soon in the game if you were HOH?
Well, since I literally just said I thought it was too soon to go after their own alliance, that's exactly what I would have done. I would have gotten out somebody that I thought was a bigger threat. I mean, but if I was in that alliance and looking at the other side, looking at like Cliff and Nicole, and I would have been Kat, Jessica, I'd be like, I don't know who is a big target to even go after on that side. It would just be, I wouldn't even know who to go after, to be honest with you.
Probably go after Kat and justify it by saying you just won the veto.
The veto. I mean, that's a good thing. No, I wouldn't have gone after my own alliance. It's way too early. I wouldn't have done it because then I'd have all these people against me, unless I had rallied the numbers within my alliance.
Yeah.
You know, to say, oh, we're going to get out this person, and I've gotten everybody on the same page, then yes. But no, I believe it's way too early to do that. But the viewer, Rachel... Now, viewer Rachel,
big move.
You better go. You better do some big moves. You better go after your own alliance. You better put up the jacks. Do it right now. But gameplay Rachel's like, no, it's but viewer Rachel, yeah, she wanted that shit to blow up.
I'm glad we got the Chanel insight into the Walmart.
Right. That's right.
You know what their alliance should have been called? It should have been called Aisle 6, okay?
Yes.
It's about how expensive that alliance is.
No, I agree. But to me, I'm so big. Like, when it comes to alliances, I'm like, stay together, because the worst alliances always break up too soon. But in this case, this is the most volatile alliance that I've ever witnessed. Like, they're all talking crap about each other. They're like, yeah, we're in an alliance, but we're not really. Like, I've never seen it play out specifically like this. So I'm like, you need to break away. And the other side is so weak. These are waste. All these people that they're getting out are waste. And just one last thing. I've been like Team Jessica. I'm so over her choices for veto
Well, I wanted to ask you guys about Jessica.
Holy crap.
Why would she have? Honestly, why would she?
I'm
she
ready.
clueless?
She just needs to be evicted for that. Literally, please. Just
And
go
also,
by,
just
girl, bye.
one
Girl,
more
bye.
thing with the 6 shooters. If they had been smart, like Level 6 was last year, sorry, I always say this about Level 6, but if they've been smart and used Bella and Nick to their advantage, like we use Sam and JC to our advantage, they would get really far.
But in the same breath, Bella and Nick should realize that they are on the outs with their alliance and go to the other side of the house and like form an alliance that way. But I really would like to see a Nick, Bella, Sam alliance because I think they have all. They would need some
Well, they
brawn.
are.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean like more solidified because I think they could go really far. I like that. I think that if you get like even, I mean, I think that they could go really far because I guess Sam has been proving to be like a comp beast because I was like they have all the brains. They don't
One of
really
the
have any
first 2
brawn.
vetoes. Yeah.
But he has won some. But I mean, these smaller alliances might be better, like those 3, or Holly, Mickey, Jack, and Sis actually could go very far if they were just a foursome.
Because Bella's literally self-destructing, so I find it interesting that she could have had potential with her, Nick,
Yes.
Sam, and then perhaps the people that she's targeting,
Yes.
such as
Yeah.
Kimmy, and such as Jessica,
And
such
Nicole,
as Nicole.
yes.
Like that could have actually been something strong, but
Absolutely.
she's stupid.
God.
I just want to comment about the whiteboard right now that it just says Big Brother.
Brother. With an A,
Big Brother. And that's it. That's the only thing. Okay.
Wait. Okay, so, but really quickly, Catherine won the veto last week, and Rachel, I wanted to know if you think that she has an actual shot with Brett.
Hell yeah.
No, I don't.
Why?
Well, Brett has a girlfriend.
Oh,
if anybody
well.
knows
And apparently
that.
she has a
Breaking
boyfriend.
news! Brett has a girlfriend.
We were waiting for the
We
news
weren't going
segment.
to announce it.
We were going to announce it, but
And according
That was a
to
joke.
Are we going
Rachel's really great news gossip last week, so does Catherine.
Yeah,
so what is she
I know.
doing?
What? She has a boyfriend?
you
yeah,
missed it.
Kat has
I
a boyfriend
missed
of
it.
2.5
He
years.
threw her a
and
$2,000 going away party for this show.
I've
There's
had
videos.
messages with him. He's been messaging a lot of the big, like Taryn
Wow.
Armstrong. He's messaged Big Brother Live account. He messages me.
So anyway,
Whoa.
Rachel's the best at this news segment,
Oh.
I must say. So I'm
let's get to
I'm
news.
salivating
Should
on
we
what
go
you
to
have
news?
to share.
Yes, we should go
Please.
to news.
Okay.
Definitely.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, all right. Well, we have a couple of news stories here. I'll start out with Houseguest Nick Macaroon, right? Nick Macaroon.
Delicious.
So, as I said earlier, he was questioning Nicole's anxiety, and the video went a little viral on Twitter. Not a little, but a lot viral on Twitter. BB20 fans emailed and called his work at Brett DiNavoni and Associates, and apparently got him fired. So, as we see in this picture that I have sent that's up right now, I will read that real quick if I can bring it up. But basically what the gist of it is, they've emailed, they said that they didn't like his behavior. They said, well, that's fine because he does not work here anymore. So it looks like Nick might not have a job. And in the past, Big Brother fans are known to do this when they do not respect the behavior, especially as someone who works with children and is a therapist, and questioning someone on their anxiety and bullying them. It doesn't, what is the word? It's just not, it doesn't make sense why somebody like that would be saying
Well, it's
stuff like that.
counterintuitive. It's counterproductive.
Exactly.
They said
Counterproductive.
not. They said not like N-O-T, all in capital letters. He does not work here
my
anymore.
God.
He does not
Saw
work
the
here.
tweet.
And just some lighter news other than that, as we see Winston Hines, which is a Big Brother 20 contestant, will be premiering on Love Island. He actually premiered tonight on Love Island, so...
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
Y'all have a
well,
lot of cross-promotion
they did
on
want.
CBS.
They did. They
yeah.
did. They originally, I believe it was supposed to be Brett and Winston on Love Island together.
Like as a couple?
But not as a couple.
That would have been
Not as a couple.
amazing.
But
That would've been amazing.
Winston is on the show. I was trying to get on the show. I was like, how great of a storyline would that be if I showed up and I was like, yeah, Winston.
I have
don't
such
know.
a big crush.
Just because
Come on,
we have a little
CBS,
bit of
get it
history.
together.
Come on.
I have such a
I'm
big
bringing
crush
you
on
all the
Winston.
juice.
I had such a big crush on Winston, I will admit. Last season, y'all remember
You had
how
a crush
obsessed
on
I was?
Winston?
Yeah, of course I did. Of course I did. I'll fight you.
about
You want to
Brett?
fight? Brett, I did too, but in like a different kind of way. Like, I wanted to marry Winston. and
Yeah,
I
you want to
wanted
marry
like,
Winston and you want to...
have a good time with Brett.
This is
And I
like-
wanted
Are we
to.
doing the F, Mary, Kill?
Yeah, I think
Mary
Charles would have done. Oh, that's Charles. That's our oven timer.
No, that's Winston. He's walking in the studio. Oh my God.
Winston!
I do.
Winnie Pooh.
All right, do we have anybody in the chat that's saying that wants to ask a question or anything? You guys want to talk
Let's
to
go to
us?
the chat.
Ask us what we want to do.
Let's see. Well, Jessica Gilbert said that karma doesn't play around. It came swiftly this time.
No, that's nice.
Joseph Bozo said, love Rachel's segment.
Nice.
Lacey Solis says, Nick and Bella got to go. I love got to go.
Got to
I love
go.
that.
I disagree, you guys. I'm really enjoying them.
They are entertaining. It's just so cringy, you know?
Meanwhile,
It's so
Bryce is like
cringy.
cousins with Nick.
He's my cousin.
And can I also say, just to discuss Kat here for a second and her veto win, when she was like, I want all these people to know who I am and know I'm here to compete and I'm here to play, and I was like, but why?
Yeah, I know what's going on.
What I know. Well, that was funny.
that part,
but I was just
I know.
like, wait, girl, but you're playing a fine game. Like, it's going well for
Just
you
chill.
because just chill. Like, you don't need to be winning competitions. What you
Yeah.
doing? Like, I'm here to show everybody that I'm a competition threat. I was like, no,
That's
you
worked
don't.
out well in the
Not
past.
yet. I wouldn't do that yet if I were you.
I'm not gonna lie. For when everything was happening up in the room and everyone was trying to go up there, I totally forgot that Catherine was even in the house.
Well, yeah.
Until that last scene where she's like, "Ding dong," I was like, "Oh yeah."
I love that they
She's in
added
the
that in.
house.
But she has a breath of fresh air, I will
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
in
She's
the
funny.
house. She's
She
funny.
is very
I want
funny.
to be friends with her after.
breath of something.
But one last
probably
thing
will be.
I want to
Yeah, we'll be
say,
friends.
because I kind of had what's it called? Epiphany almost. So I'm going to give I took credit from Jessica, but I'm going to give it back just a little bit.
Just because she's your namesake. Just
I
because you
know,
have the
right?
same
Like, you
name.
could be embarrassing us on TV, girl. But no, her veto choices are trash, and I stand by
Oh,
that.
God, yeah.
Terrible.
Terrible. Like, you're choosing people from the most obvious alliance. 9 of them were up in the room, and they shooed all of you out. If that's not obvious, you guys need to wake up. But anyway,
yeah.
I will say this, though. Her deciding not to have Nicole's back was not good. However, the only defense, even though she didn't give it, I'm going to give it to you, girl, if you're listening. You're not. The only defense I can give her is that it was discovered that Nicole, Ovi, and Cliff were all in the alliance zing together. So technically, if she would have chose Nicole, it would have been seemingly obvious that Nicole could have chose someone in her own zing alliance,
Yeah.
which would have been Cliff. That's the only reason not to have allowed for Nicole to play.
And honestly, if Nicole would have won the veto, she wouldn't have even chosen to get anybody off because she knew she was the backdoor target.
Well, no, because now when you win the veto, you can save someone and that person's
Yeah,
safe
if
as
she
well.
won the veto,
it's
she'd
the
be
gold veto.
safe.
It's the gold power veto now. Remember, it used to be the silver one back in the day.
Oh.
The silver one back in the day, you could save someone, but you have risk of going up. And now the golden one.
Oh, duh. Girl, what year am I living in?
That's what I'm here for.
All right, you guys.
I should join that alliance with how stupid that was.
Zing!
So for our prediction segment, we're gonna bring it back to have it.
AfterBuzz TV prediction.
So since we don't know who the HOH is, I thought we would have a fun little Chen chatter, which is where we discuss things host Julie Chen Moon has said in interviews to press to take your Big Brother gameplay and production. Yeah, there you go. So when asked
made that up
how
years ago.
to
It's
make
hard
the
to do.
most out of your HOH, here's what she said. If we can pull up that video while we're doing that, she just I want to hear you guys what you guys would say.
Oh, I remember, yeah.
My best advice on making the most out of your HOH is to listen to everyone, respect everyone, and please don't get drunk with power. Your housemates don't like it, the viewers don't like it, the Big Brother fans, they hate it. Do yourself a favor and have some humility.
Okay, so with that being said,
I thought that she was gonna say like, "Don't get drunk." I was like, "Can you please get
Don't
drunk?"
get drunk.
That'd be more
Julie
fun.
Christ over here. Like, come on, easy to say.
I don't know why. No, so I want to know what, like, for the next HOH, whoever that may be, what would you guys like to see out of them? Maybe you can predict who it could be, but what would you give? What advice would you give?
My prediction is I want it to be Nicole or anybody not in the 9, the undeniable. I just want anybody but them to win and to put up the Jacks. I want something epic to happen, as we all do. I want it to happen. I agree with Julie. Don't get drunk with power. Just play the game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, go.
Yeah. I don't want Jessica to win, unfortunately, because I feel like she would.
She keeps going at it.
I know, because I feel like she's
Jessica.
She's gonna put up Cliff and Nicole. Honestly.
Yeah, oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, like I
she
don't
cannot
trust
win.
her anymore. I don't trust her.
The first person I've nominated is Cliff.
Right. Like,
second,
Jessica.
I just
myself.
Right. So either Cliff or Nicole winning would be great. Who else is left? It confuses me because
I don't want Kat to win because I don't think Kat would know what she. I nominate myself.
Yeah.
And myself again.
Kat, please don't let her win. Or I don't want Bella to win. Now, if someone, maybe like a Holly or a Sis, I think they may have more gusto to switch things up a little bit.
I don't think
At least go after Bella and Nick, maybe.
Maybe.
I either go after Bella and
Those
Nick or
guys
go
would
after
totally
Jack
make
and Mickey.
one of those girls do the
I'm
dirty
good.
work.
I want Bella to win.
Exactly, they would.
Yeah, they would make them do
Oh
it.
my
What
God,
do you think,
Bella.
Charles?
I would say I want Nicole to win, but I honestly think she's too easily swayed to make a big move.
I agree.
I would say she has the most vengeance to go after Bella, the most hated person in the house. But whenever it comes down to who I really want to see on those chairs, I really want to see Jack sitting in that eviction night chair, and I think the person who has the guts to do it would either be Sam or
Sam. I want Sam to win.
Or Cliff could do it, yeah. He has nothing to lose.
Maybe if he's, like I said, maybe if he's mad about those 6 votes, you know?
Yeah.
He could be like, okay,
Sam,
who was
good.
against me?
Well, that's what I really
Sam is
quickly I
good.
wanted to say. You know, it was a
I agree.
6-4 vote. How do you guys think that's going to affect the game? Do you think it will be discussed?
Well,
or?
after tonight's episode, they cut to eavesdrop on the Houseguest, and it looked like Bella and Nick were trying to work it out with their alliance.
It looked like they were too.
They were trying.
Well, then you go to Twitter.
They looked like they were mad.
I heard their alliance justifying to them why they decided to flip the vote.
And Chrissy said, I don't care.
Yeah.
They're like, this is what we want to do. So I think it may get a little heated. I can't wait to go home and watch the BB After Dark.
Yeah.
But
on Pop.
Yeah, on Pop TV. Every night on Pop TV. Check your local listings. All right, you guys, that's it for us. Tune in next Thursday for another after show following the live eviction. And if you want even more BB20 coverage, be sure to check out Big Brother Small World with JC every Tuesday right here on AfterBuzz TV. Thank you guys for joining us once again. I'm Bryce McLeay. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bryce Advice.
I'm Rachel Swindler. You can find me on Instagram at Rachel Swindler and on Twitter at Rachy Swin.
hey guys, I'm Jessica Williams. You can find me on Twitter at Miss Jessica WW and on Instagram at Miss Jessica Williams. And just the last shout out on our chat to Beefy Fireman. He said that I love watching you guys. This was a good time. We love you too.
Beefy Fireman, he can call me or follow me at Charles Conoly on both Instagram and Twitter. Hey, Beefy Fireman, I'll be looking for that notification.
Thanks, guys, from outside the Big Brother house and inside AfterBuzz Studios. I'm Bryce McLeay. Good night.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.